Welcome to my scrapping space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. Today, I'm going to show you what you can do with some pretty solid color paper and a lovely embossing folder. So let's get my face out of the way and start creating, should we? So the embossing folder I'm using today is Layered Florals, and that can be found in the January to April mini catalog. It just has such a great impression and can be used for so many things. Today I'm going to stick with solid colors. I think they look really springy, but you could use it for lots of things. And of course, with an embossing folder, you can always add color or other thing to the folder. But let's go basic today and see what amazing things we can do. I'm going to adjust lights here to see if you can see a better contrast. There, that's a little better, isn't it? So it's really has great texture. A card you can do in so many colors, and I'll show you some tips and tricks for adding that embossing folder to the envelope flap, which just really finishes it. Okay, this is Highland Heather, Flirty Flamingo, and let's add another color so you can see how amazing it looks in every color. And this is Coastal Cabana. Now, all my measurements, all the supplies list, you can find on the blog linked below this video. But this is a standard 4 by 5 1/4. I'm using one as a mat for the front and one for the inside. Then I went with the same color. I love monochromatic designs, but you could mix and match, of course. And this is slightly smaller than my 4 by 5 1/4. I went down 1/8 of an inch. And then a standard card base. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's do some embossing. So this is called a 3D folder, meaning it's a thicker, it's going to give you more of a distinct impression. And when you're using a 3D folder with the Stampin' Up Cut and Emboss, you want to use plates 1 and 4. So my piece of paper is going in. Stampin' Up has kindly given me a line here, which I use more and more. At first I thought, was that really necessary? But it's so helpful. When I emboss, my Stampin' Up logo's on the front and fold first. The other thing that's, and always when you're embossing, whether you're die cutting or embossing, when you're using these plates, there's always a plate on top. That protects the die or the embossing folder and your machine. So I have plate 1 first. That's always my first plate. Then my folder, fold first, logo up, then this. And I'm going to run it through my embossing folder, and it's just going to go like this. And if it's not running as smoothly as mine is, stop and check your plates. It should just go right through for you. I'm going to back up my machine because I'm really close to my camera and we don't want to hit that. That's all there is to it. And now I have this beautifully embossed piece of paper, and that's enough for a card. So the other things I've added to my card is a basic white ribbon. You could add a sparkly ribbon. You could do whatever you want. I'm going to show you a trick that I use when I'm tying bows. I love to tie bows, but many of my customers and people who come to my classes struggle with it. So this is an easier way to do it. I'm going to cut my ribbon slightly longer than my card. So if you're looking for measurements at home, probably about 5 inches. Then I'm going to grab some tear and tape and attach it to the back of my card. And I'm going to go about 1 inch from the bottom. So I lay my card here. I'm on a grid line. Here we go. And then I'm going to go up to the next inch. So the numbers I'm looking at are here. I know they're not easy to see, but the base of my card is at 6 and my ribbon is going to land at 7. But you can put it wherever you want. The trick is just to use grid paper, or I'm using our amazing glass mat, so that you get the ribbon straight, because you're not seeing the front of your card and you really don't want it too wonky. So just a little bit of tear and tape. We'll hold that in place. And again, it doesn't matter quite so much. It's really just that wherever you use, it's straight. This is a really soft ribbon, which makes it great for card making because it's easy to use. And the ribbon it's in basic white, and it's called our herringbone ribbon. It's 3/4 inch wide. You could use a narrower one, use what you have. Our linen thread, of course, works for everything. So now I have this. Now I'm going to cut a piece about 5 inches. And then I'm just tucking it underneath here. And I'm making a knot. And I find this knot is not as thick as if I would do a bow on the front, you know. It just has less layers. And this is such a soft ribbon, it's easy to do. That's all there is to it, except I'm going to trim it. Like so. For me, it's easier just to put the two ends together. There we go. And if I go from the fold end in, see how I did that? Then I just have kind of that little V there. But you can just trim straight across too. But after tying it, this is loosely woven, so you probably will have to trim because your ends are going to get a little wonky. All right. Really, we've done the hard work of the card. Now we're just going to do some attaching. And because it's so heavily embossed, I'm going to use a multi-purpose glue. I often use a tape runner, but it's really heavily embossed, and it's hard for the tape to catch there. In fact, I'm even going to do a little bit back here to help that ribbon stay in place. Maybe. There we go. All right. So I'm just putting liquid adhesive around the outside and maybe a little in the middle. And that's going to go right here. Now you could remove the back of that tape. You'll have a double tape, but you don't need to, and I'm not going to. And I'm just centering that. Look how everything pops. Now because because I'm using that liquid glue, I can move it around to where I want. Back to what I was saying. Look how that Coastal Cabana pops against that white. Isn't that pretty? Then we just have our card base, which I'm going to fold in half. Like so. And again, you could mix and match colors. That would be fun. You could do this with a print paper. And now I have a flat backing, well, little ribbon pieces here. So I can just use my tape runner. And that's going to go on the front of there. Seriously, how quick and easy are these cards? I'm doing this card at class tonight, and they can pick which color. I have 4 colors for them to pick from. Now, I just felt like we got this far and maybe one more thing. So I reached for embellishments. This is my all-purpose embellishment. They are the Iridescent Rhinestones Basic Jewels. First of all, you can't go wrong with rhinestones. And they're going to go with everything. But they have a bit of texture to them, so they reflect the light. Now, I want to point out, let's put something behind these so you can see them. That's a little better, yes. They come in a variety of sizes, and on cards I'm going to mail, I'm going to stick to the smaller size. These stand up quite a bit, so I'm going to stick with the smaller ones. But it's your card, you can put on it what you want, and the bigger ones you can use if you're hand delivering a card. They'd be fun on a scrapbook page. And my rule of embellishments is 3. Odd numbers are always more aesthetically pleasing, and 3 in the roughly shape of a triangle, because that's how your eye is going to go. In scrapbooking, we use that triangle and the odd numbers to help our eye travel where we want it to go on the page, like in a certain order. But in a card, it just adds more interest. Okay, so we have the beautiful card, right? I'm going to hold it so you can maybe see the rhinestones. Trust me, it's beautiful. So we don't want to send it in a naked envelope. And we don't have a print paper that I usually put on the envelope flap. You've seen me do that with other cards. So let's just do something different with the envelope flap. Just like you can emboss paper, you can emboss an envelope flap. I'm going to clear away some of the mess I've already made. And we're going to bring out that embossing folder again. And this is one of our larger embossing folders, so it's perfect for envelopes. We're going to set just the envelope flap in there, and I'm lining up the This fold line right here, I'm lining it up with where my embossing ends. You can see a straight line down there, not this line, but where the actual embossing ends. Because what you don't want to do is get embossing down into here. So I'm lining that up at the end of that folder. And then I'm closing it. Now, we're tempted to kind of roll that envelope underneath, but then that's going to leave a big line, like bump, and you won't get it lined up correctly. So we're going to leave it just like that. I'm pulling things off of here so I can bring this back over for you. And again, plate one. And I'm doing it on the machine rather than transferring it because, and see, it comes undone. You have to kind of line it up. Ooh, there we go. And then you want to get it in there. There. I'm looking for the fold of the envelope flap. I have it at the end of where the embossing ends on the folder. We're going to plop this down and we're going to send it through. I'm going to move this so you can kind of see it come out the other side. There we go. And you get that kind of click because it kind of steps down from there. But look at that. When it's folded here, you have embossing. There's nothing on this side, but it looks stunning. How easy was that? And our card is done. Now I have a white insert to go in, but the great thing about this card is it can be anything I want it to be, and I haven't decided yet. It could be a beautiful Easter card, a birthday card. With some of these colors, it could be a baby card. So many choices, and I like that. So I just have my blank insert that I will stamp the sentiment on it when I know what the card needs to be. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If what I shared was helpful, let your crafting buddies know about my YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. If you have questions about the products I used, reach out to your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd be honored to help you. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.